Thank you for being here. This is short. You can watch the whole thing right now. I made this because I kept seeing the same thing. Smart, capable people who are genuinely exceptional at their jobs, working harder and harder to fix a communication problem that isn't actually a communication problem, practicing more, scripting more, preparing more. And it's not helping. It's actually making it worse. After working with thousands of empathetic experts over the last decade plus, I wanted more people to have access to this reframe. You do not need to work harder to reclaim your confidence. You need to get comfortable. Comfort is where your confidence actually lives. And there are tools that can get you there, even in the rooms where your voice usually goes quiet. Let's get into it. I'm Lee, and the work I do helps people express ourselves with consistent confidence in every room we enter. One belief runs through everything I do. You're confident when you're comfortable. I work with leaders who are totally confident doing the work, but the moment that we have to prove ourselves, speaking with executives, interviewing, going from one-on-ones to public speaking, we lose focus, and with that, our ability to think on our feet. If your confidence is unpredictable, it's solid with your team, but gone the moment the stakes go up, this is for you. Quick version of my story. I struggled with splintered speaking too. I was confident doing the work, but the moment I had to talk about the work, I'd get the palpitations, the throat tightening, losing my train of thought completely. I joke that it's because my mother was a mime. She is. But really, it was speaking anxiety, what I call splintered speaking. What helped wasn't more tips. More tools actually overwhelmed me. But things shifted for me when I finally understood what was actually happening in my body and working with it instead of blaming myself. That's what I want to share with you today. It's not a communication problem. You communicate fine when you're comfortable with your team, in low stakes conversations when you feel safe. What happens in certain rooms isn't about communication. It's about attention. When the stakes go up, your attention splits between what you want to say and how you think you're being perceived. That split, this splintered speaking, is what causes the fog, the mind going blank, your voice getting swallowed or speeding up. It's a focus issue, and focus is something we can actually work with. Here's why comfort is the key to confidence. When we enter fight or flight, our analytical brain takes over. We go up in our heads, fixating on words, what to say, how we're coming across, how we're being perceived. But here's the thing. Under that kind of mental load, our cognitive on-the-spot thinking is actually quite limited. The clarity and compassion we need goes offline. What turns up is our self-criticism. We can't think our way out because thinking is part of what's activating the spiral, and the body follows. This is why physicality has a greater impact than we realize. 80% of the fibers in our vagus nerve, the nerve that regulates the nervous system, runs from our body to our brain, not our brain to our body. That means that we cannot think our way to calm, but we can use our body language to get there. So when anxiety hits, we go into habitual patterns automatically. The same anxious spiral every time without choosing it. Like driving a familiar route, our hands know what to do and our mind goes somewhere else entirely. Habitual behaviors take up cognitive space, which is why anxiety can feel so totalizing. So we choose tools that are intentionally not habitual. Because once a tool becomes automatic, It no longer requires your presence, and presence is what we're building. A deliberate, non-habitual tool takes the part of your brain that wants to race and gives it a specific job. That act of choosing is what interrupts the spiral and brings you back into the present moment. When the habits return, and they will, that's your reset. Notice, refocus, come back to your tool. That's the whole practice. The empathetic presence framework gives you 3 ways to consolidate your focus. You don't use all 3 at once. You pick the one that's most relevant right now. Embody is physical grounding tools to get out of our head and into our body. This activates our nervous system's rest and regulate mode. Expert is about focusing frameworks to help us organize our thinking so that our analytical brain has structure to work with instead of spinning. And finally, empathy is about redirecting your attention towards your audience, using empathy as a focusing mechanism instead of a distraction. We're going deep on 2 tools today, one to help you get embodied and one for how you organize content concisely when you're put on the spot. Let's start with the body. The first tool is called the lean back. It's a physical anchor, and it's designed to be simple enough to reach for when you're already activated, in the meeting, at the table, mid-conversation. You do not need to leave the room or close your eyes. It's about making one small, deliberate choice. Most of us unconsciously lean forward when we're anxious. We clench and brace. But when we're leaning forward and constricting, we can't breathe properly. Our belly can't expand. The breath stays shallow and high, and that keeps our nervous system in an activated state. You literally can't access your full breath when you're shrinking. Leaning in is also habitual, so it feeds habitual anxiety. Here's how it works. Let your back make full contact with the chair. Don't lean in. Don't sit forward. Don't perch. Let the chair hold you. Feel your feet on the floor. Don't just notice them. Feel the actual pressure of your feet against the ground or in your sock. Take one breath and extend your exhale. The exhale is what signals to your nervous system that you're safe. The inhale activates, but the exhale regulates. When you lean back, your belly can actually expand. Belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, activates the vagus nerve, which is the main highway of our parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and regulate system, rest and digest. When your vagus nerve activates, your body starts producing the hormones that create genuine confidence. Testosterone, dopamine, serotonin. Not performed confidence. Actual felt confidence in your body. And there's something else. Just bringing awareness to your physicality, instead of staying in habitual anxious thinking, is proven to improve focus and hormonal confidence. Your gut brain and your body hold intelligence that your head brain can't access when it's spinning. When you drop your center of attention out of your head and into your body, you actually think more clearly. The lean back isn't just a calming trick. It's a physiological shift that creates the internal conditions for confidence. Now let's practice. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer while keeping part of your attention on the sensation of your back hitting the chair. How do you think you're perceived in your most challenging moments at work? Notice if anything shifted. Use the lean back before you walk into a high-stakes meeting, when you go blank mid-conversation, when your heart is racing and you need to get out of your head fast. And the most important thing, practice it first in low-stakes situations. before a meeting that doesn't matter much, on a call you're not nervous about. That's how it becomes something your nervous system can actually reach for when the stakes are high. Not habit, familiarity. That's the difference. The second tool is called the golden nugget. This one is for your thinking, specifically for the moment where you're put on the spot. Someone asks you a question in a meeting. An executive turns to you. You're asked to give an update you weren't expecting. And there's a habitual response most of us fall into. We start talking right away and try to find our point as we go. We start in the details, add context, qualify everything. Or we have this unconscious thought pattern telling us we don't actually know the answer, when, of course, we do. By the time we get to what we actually mean to say, we've lost the room and ourselves. The golden nugget gives your thinking brain a specific job in the moment you're activated. Find the most important thing. Just that. That one act of choosing your starting point consolidates your focus and pulls it away from how am I being perceived toward what do I actually want to say. 2 steps. Step 1, your golden nugget. What's the most important thing they need to know? Start there. It's a phrase, the bird's eye view, not the details, not the full story, just the thing that matters most. Example. Our main challenge right now is that people don't feel welcome to speak up. That's the golden nugget. Lead with that. Step 2, back it up. One sentence that gives your reasoning or the impact, just enough to support the point. We know this from our survey data, validated in our one-on-ones. 2 sentences. That's a complete, clear response. And if they want more, they'll ask. And now you're having a conversation instead of delivering a report no one asked for. Under pressure, complexity collapses. You can't hold 10 things in your head when your nervous system is activated. So you need a structure simple enough to actually reach for in the moment. One that requires you to be present, not one you can run on autopilot. The act of finding your golden nugget, asking yourself, what's the most important thing, consolidates your focus. You're not memorizing what to say. You're using structure to organize what you already know. Scripts fail when things go off plan. Structure is available no matter what happens. Let's practice. I'll ask you a question and you can practice finding your golden nugget in real time. But first, find your center. And then I'll ask you this question. What's the purpose of the work you do, and what's the felt impact? Could you hear your golden nugget? If you had a rush of unconscious thoughts, I don't know, or what do they mean? We want to work with those thoughts for what they are, a distraction, and to manually replace them with something more intentional, like what's the most important thing I want them to remember? So, you have 2 tools. The lean back to get out of your head and into your body when the pressure hits, and the golden nugget to give your thinking a place to start when you're put on the spot. And you have a framework with 3 focal points you can move between: your body, your perspective, and your audience, depending on what the moment needs. One important thing, do not try to use these all at once. Pick the one tool that made you think, oh, that's interesting. Start there. Practice it somewhere low stakes first. Notice what shifts. These aren't scripts, they are structures. You make them your own. You already know your stuff. You communicate perfectly when you're comfortable. This is about building the capacity to stay there, even in the rooms where your voice usually goes quiet. It's about building a consistent, comfortable foundation for your presence to return home to when you're put on the spot, activated with anxiety, or doubting yourself. But this only works if you remember that your voice is not some problem to be fixed. Your nervous system is responding rationally to toxic environments. For empathetic leaders, people who are wired to read the room, those dynamics land in the body. The heart racing, the chest tightening, the breath that goes shallow right when you need it most. That's why more preparation doesn't fix it. The approach itself has to change. This work starts with your body, not your words. So remember, confidence isn't the goal. Focus on comfort first, then clarity. And your innate confidence will follow because you're confident when you're comfortable. If this work resonates with you, I invite you to explore private coaching or Express Yourself Everywhere, my group program designed to help you build confidence in every room and Zoom you enter. Find out more at presentvoices.com.